The Vaxian Empire had conquered 47 star systems in less than a decade. Their fleet was unstoppable, their weapons unmatched, and their arrogance boundless. When they received the Terran warning buoy's message at the edge of human space, Grand Admiral Zexther had laughed a wet, gurgling sound that echoed through the bridge of his flagship. "Trespassing into Terran territory guarantees death," he read aloud, his translator making his words understandable to his crew. How delightfully primitive. These humans actually believe they can threaten the Empire. His tactical officer, a young warrior eager to prove himself, hesitated before speaking. "Admiral, our intelligence suggests the humans have repelled 3 previous incursions. Perhaps silence." Zexther's 4 eyes narrowed. "Those were minor scouting parties. We bring the full might of the 7th Battle Fleet. Prepare the jump. We take their core worlds today." The fleet jumped into Terran space near the colony of New Perth, expecting minimal resistance. What they found instead was a seemingly empty system with a single, outdated frigate drifting near the 4th planet. One ship? Zexther couldn't believe it. They defend their territory with one ship? On the bridge of the Terran frigate Indomitable, Captain Ana Martinez stood with her arms crossed, watching the massive Vaxian fleet materialize on her screens. 50 capital ships, hundreds of support vessels, enough firepower to glass a dozen worlds. Her crew was silent, tense, waiting for her orders. "Well," Anna said calmly, "they were warned." She turned to her communications officer. "Send the activation codes to all defense platforms. Authorization Martinez Alpha 7. "Yes, Captain," the officer replied, fingers flying across her console. Anna pressed her cum badge. "Commander Alexander Chun, this is your show now. Make it count. 300,000 kilometers away, aboard the hidden orbital fortress Prometheus." Commander Alexander Chun smiled grimly. He'd spent 3 years preparing for this moment, overseeing the construction of humanity's greatest secret, the Terran defense grid. "All stations, this is Chun. Decloak and engage. Show them why we put up those warning signs." Space itself seemed to tear apart as 300 defense platforms dropped their stealth fields simultaneously, forming a perfect sphere around the Vaxian fleet. Each platform bristled with weapons humanity had spent decades perfecting railguns that could punch through any shield, missile pods carrying antimatter warheads, and the terrifying new cascade lasers that could chain reactions. Between multiple targets, the Vaxians had seconds to react. It wasn't enough. Alexander's fingers danced across his tactical display, coordinating the assault with the precision of a conductor leading an orchestra. The first wave of railgun fire tore through the Vaxian destroyer screen like tissue paper. Kinetic rounds traveling at 0.4 C didn't care about energy shields or ablative armor. They simply erased whatever they hit. "Target their command ship," Alexander ordered. "Make it personal." Grand Admiral Zexther watched in horror as his fleet died around him. Ships that had conquered worlds vanished in flowers of nuclear fire. His shields, which had withstood the weapons of a dozen species, collapsed under the relentless barrage of Terran kinetic weaponry. "Return fire." He screamed. "Kill them all." But the Vaxians couldn't target what they couldn't see. The moment they locked onto one platform, it would fade back into stealth, while another dozen opened fire from different angles. It was like fighting ghosts deadly, merciless ghosts that knew exactly where you were and exactly how to kill you. On the Indomitable, Anna watched the tactical display with professional detachment. The battle, if it could even be called, that was more of a massacre. 3 years ago, humanity had made a choice. They couldn't match the Empire's numbers, couldn't field as many ships or soldiers. But they could make their territory so costly to invade that no one would dare try. The defense grid had cost the GDP of 5 colonies. It had required mining operations across 3 asteroid belts and the labor of millions. Politicians had called it wasteful, short-sighted, paranoid. Anna thought it was the best investment humanity had ever made. "Captain," her sensor officer called out. "The Vaxian flagship is trying to jump out." "Negative," Anna replied coldly. "Alexander, lock them down." Alexander activated the gravity inhibitors, another human innovation. Massive generators that flooded local space with gravitational interference, making faster-than-light travel impossible. The Vaxians were trapped, and they knew it. "Please," Zexther's translated voice crackled over the open channel. "We surrender." "We didn't know," Anna cut him off. "You were warned." The message was clear. Trespassing into Terran territory guarantees death. You chose to ignore it. We can negotiate. The Empire will pay reparations. We'll sign treaties. The time for negotiation was before you crossed our border. Alexander's voice joined the channel. "You saw the warning buoy. You saw the message. You came anyway because you thought we were weak. You thought we were prey." The cascade lasers fired in perfect synchronization, their beams creating a web of destruction that engulfed the Vaxian flagship. For a moment, the ship's shields held, blazing brilliant blue against the onslaught. Then they failed, and the conquest of stars, pride of the Vaxian Empire, came apart at the molecular level. The remaining Vaxian ships lasted another 4 minutes. When the battle ended, if it could even be called a battle, the debris field stretched across millions of kilometers. Not a single Vaxian ship escaped. Not a single escape pod was launched. The Empire's 7th battle fleet had ceased to exist. Anna walked to the observation deck and stared out at the wreckage floating in the void. She felt no satisfaction, no triumph, just a cold certainty that humanity had proven its point. "Think they'll come back?" her first officer asked quietly. "No," Anna replied. "The Empire will receive the battle logs. They'll analyze every second of the engagement. And they'll realize that this was just one system, one defense grid. Every core world has one. Every colony world has one. We've turned our entire territory into a fortress." Alexander's voice came through her comm badge. "Captain Martinez, preliminary counts show complete elimination of hostile forces. 0 Terran casualties." "Copy that, Commander. Send a drone to the Vaxian border. Load it with full battle logs and a simple message. You were warned." 3 weeks later, the Vaxian Empire pulled back all forces from the Terran frontier. 2 months after that, they sued for peace, offering trade agreements and mutual defense pacts. The other aggressive species in the galaxy took note. Humanity's territory remained inviolate because the Empire had been warned, and the price of ignoring that warning had been paid in full. In blood and fire and the cold mathematics of Terran warfare. Anna stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had proven something important that day. They weren't the strongest species, or the most numerous, or the most advanced, but they were absolutely, unequivocally, the most prepared. And in the cold equations of interstellar warfare, that made all the difference.